All right, in 3, 2, 1, and we are live with the very first episode ever of Have a Brew with Sean and Lou. I'm Sean Lamb. I got my good buddy Lou Pitcock, my right-hand man, riding shotgun over there. And today's a really cool day. I got my good buddy Caleb Daugherty over here. The reason I can't drink hard alcohol, the reason I sleep on the couch a lot. We might have overdid it this weekend. I don't know.
Nah, I don't think so.
I don't know.
Was it Friday night or Saturday night?
yeah, it was Saturday night. What time did you get in, Lou?
3:30.
Yeah, all I know is we left your house. We went straight down to Sunshine Cafe where I just made a complete idiot of myself, like in public. I mean, it was bad. I had a great ham and cheese omelet, though, so I can't complain about that. What'd you do, Taco Bell?
Yeah, Taco Bell. My lady didn't let me out of the car, so I didn't make an idiot of myself. I have no idea what time I got home.
Yeah, we went to Taco Bell right after the gun show. It wasn't too bad. But do you remember going into Shell that night?
Oh, yeah, I remember.
We square danced in there screaming Achy Breaky Heart to the guy that doesn't like country music behind the desk. Caleb and him, they had a pretty good heart-to-heart conversation.
Right.
He was less than impressed with Caleb.
Yeah, and Caleb told him what he thought about it. But anyway, you know, all that stuff aside.
Right, yeah.
I'm just going to go ahead and jump right into it. Caleb, I met you actually a few years ago from my good buddy Pappy, my bass player Pappy. He called me and said, man, you know, we're doing the country showdown. I called this guy Caleb. You got to hear him. He's a bluegrass kid, but he can sing, you know, the shit out of country, man. You just got to meet him. And I'm always a little skeptical meeting musicians, you know, because when you play music, you meet so many of them. And it's not that you're just not impressed with these musicians, but there's just, you know, you've seen a lot, man. If there's anyone that plays music, it's like you just assume you already know them. But man, I showed up that day, and you were just absolutely killing it, man. I was really, really, really impressed. I mean, I was super impressed, and we kind of stayed in touch a little bit after that. And then you started sharing like videos on Facebook, and they just started blowing up out of nowhere. Kind of. So how did all that kind of just come to fruition? I mean, tell me a little bit about the background of that.
Well, I mean, I had never really done much on Facebook at all. I mean, I'd share videos from shows I'd done, you know, things like that. But one day I'd just done a video and put it on Facebook, and it was kind of a big flop, I thought. And it didn't do anything. And I was driving truck at the time, and I was actually landing my truck in a truck stop in Michigan. And I thought, well, I'm going to share this video because it was a Keith Whitley song. I thought, I'm going to share this video to a Keith Whitley page. And I did. And that's when I had people call me and message me and stuff like that. And actually, that's how I met Lori Morgan, was through that, you know, and it went really well. So I thought, well, I'll do another one if people enjoy it, you know. I always just, I don't know, if I can do something people enjoy, that's what means something to me, you know. So I put another one on there, and it done pretty good, and here I am.
Now, what do you consider pretty good? Now, when you say your video did pretty good, you're getting, I mean, how many hits? Like the first one I ever saw was Between an Old Memory and Me. Like, have you looked at that lately? Do you know where the hits are at?
I have no clue.
My God, the last time I saw it, it was in the hundreds. It was like a 100 and some thousand, more than 100 and some thousand now, or something like that. I thought.
I don't know. I really, honestly don't know. I haven't looked at it in a long time. I didn't even know they kept track of the views when I put it on, so that's probably why I haven't checked it.
Okay, so you put this video out, and everything's going good, and, you know, more people are starting to, and I saw your Facebook friends just start to go from, you know, this number to this number and this, and now I don't even know if you can add anymore. I think you're like 4,995 or whatever. I mean, and I think the max for a person's Facebook page is 5,000. So, yeah. I mean, you're right there at the cusp of, you know, just all that stuff. So you put this video out, you're starting to get some recognition, and the next thing you know, you're playing like the Keith Whitley Memorial Ride. How was that? How was that?
The ride was absolutely amazing. And what happened is the Whitley song I put on Facebook, Between Old Memory and Me, there's a guy that is a Whitley fan that's from Florida, and his name's Chris Keefe. I actually do a lot of work with him now. And I actually met him, and he's the guy who puts on the whole, him and Jesse Keith Whitley, they do the whole memorial concert and ride and all that stuff. And he invited me down to do that last year, and I went and done it, and then luckily they had me back again this year. And so I got to do it again. It's just, I don't know, it's just one of them things I still don't hardly believe it. You know,
and that's what I saw. It's like it's because you're such a soft-spoken guy. Like when it comes to you don't brag about yourself at all. I mean, if I was you, I would be wearing T-shirts saying, "Hey, man, I played with Lori Morgan." But I mean, I saw a video of you and Lori Morgan. I mean, being a Keith Whitley fan, which, you know, I'd heard of Keith Whitley and I'd listened to, you know. But I'd say you're probably the guy that really turned me on to Keith Whitley, because after I hear you sing, it's like, man, I need to pull up some of Keith Whitley's catalog. And I mean, the guy was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And so for you to be sitting there in a chair singing, these songs with Lori Morgan, being the Keith Whitley fan you are. I mean, does it get much cooler than that? I mean,
no, it don't get much cooler than that. And like I said, it's still hard for me to believe, but Lori's a sweetheart. She's a great person. I mean, she really is. And the first time I met her and sang with her was last year at the Ride, but it was the night before the actual concert at the hotel, because there's hundreds of us that go to the hotel on Friday before the Saturday night show. And we have PA system, everything set up, and we all just play and sing. Well, I was sitting there singing, and Lori come up and started singing with me, and instantly I was kind of like, whoa, I didn't really know what to do.
What just happened here?
Right, I kind of froze up a little bit, I guess,
Oh, I'd be freaking out. I'd be crapping my pants, man.
Yeah.
That'd be like me singing with Jesse Coulter, because, Waylon Jennings, I just got Waylon Jennings like on this huge pedestal.
Right, yeah.
And if I sang with, there's no way I wouldn't be able to make it through. I mean, I just don't have the composure to be able to hold it together for something like that. There's no way. But we say that's the coolest thing you've done, but also you've played the Grand Ole Opry.
Yeah.
Through Rhonda Vincent. Now, how did you and Rhonda, how did that connection come up? How did that happen?
Facebook videos.
Really? And she just reached out to you and was like, hey, I like the way you sing?
Well, I mean, she had commented on a few of my videos and said that, she liked the song or liked how I sang it and stuff. And then actually I was playing with a bluegrass band, and we was playing in at Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri. And a buddy of mine put a video on of us doing a sound check, and she actually commented on the video. And she said, I hope this is in Branson, Missouri, because I would like to meet Caleb Daugherty. And I was like, what? Like, you want to meet me? Like, nice. That don't make any sense. And so my buddy got back on there, I think, if I'm remembering right, he told her what time our show was. So we was, playing in this big gazebo outside. And we was, halfway through our set, roughly. And I turned around, and Rhonda Vincent standing on stage behind me. And another moment, I was like, "Oh man, what do I do now?"
Hold it together, man. Hold it together.
Right? Don't mess up now. Don't mess up now. That's kind of the way it was. And then after we finished our set, let's see here. Yeah, after we finished our set, the boy that's playing fiddle in the band I was in, he is, I think Kyle is 14 now, amazing musician, but his dad had brought him out there, and his dad says, "Ain't you going to go play with Rhonda?" I think is how he worded it, and I was like, "Do what?" He's like, come on, you got to get your guitar and stuff. Let's go. And I was like, what are you talking about? Where are we going? He's like, Rhonda asked for you and Kyle to come do a couple songs with her on her set at the main building. I was like, no, nobody said nothing about this to me. And he's like, yeah, seriously, get your stuff. We got to go. And I was like, oh, wow. I couldn't believe it. I was kind of froze up. Oh, man, now I don't know what I'm going to do now. So we went down. It was probably took us 15 or 20 minutes just to walk, because that's all you could do inside the place is so packed. And we walked all the way down, and then we got to do, I think there was 2 or 3 songs we done with Rhonda. And then that led to, a short time later, her calling me out of the blue on a Monday.
She personally called your phone?
Yeah, on a Monday.
It wasn't her people calling your people? Or
No. And but she called me on a Monday, and she says, told me she's playing the Opry on Wednesday, and said that her guitar player couldn't make it, and asked me, she's like, would you be interested in playing the Opry Wednesday night? Now, this is the Wednesday before the Keith Whitley tribute show. So Wednesday, I played the Opry with her, and then Friday I met Lori Morgan. So the whole week was just insane. I still don't believe it.
Wow.
But she said, would you be interested in playing, the Opry on Wednesday? And inside, I was jumping up and down, yeah, I'll be there, no problem. But I was like, yeah, I can do that.
I don't know. Maybe I can play the Opry. I don't know.
Caleb. I play it cool.
I was like, come on, just stay calm. And I was like, yeah, I could definitely be there. Are you sure it's short notice? She says, and I was like, yeah, this should be no problem at all. So I get off the phone, and I'm like, heart just going crazy, I
can't call my mom fast enough.
Right. So I tell my wife, I'm like, that was Rhonda Vincent. She wants me to play the Opry Wednesday night. She's like, no way. And I was like, yeah way. Well, I went and played the Opry. It was insane.
Wow. So I mean, you've played before, before the Opry and all this stuff. So
right.
You've been on stages. How was playing the Opry stage, man?
It was unreal. It was insane. Backstage, I was sweating. I don't wear suits, but when Rhonda Vincent tells you need to wear a suit, you go buy a suit and you wear the suit.
And you ditch the hat. Yeah.
Right, yep. And so I'm back here. I'm in this great big suit and everything, and I'm sweating. I'm nervous, bad nervous. And her banjo player, Aaron McDarris, he's like, you nervous? And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty much nervous.
Very.
And he's like, man, once you walk out there, I'm pretty sure it was him that told me. he said, once you walk out there, he said, you'll be all right. Like, it's okay. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, when I walk out there, I'm going to pass out. Like, I'm just going to go out. That's going to be the end of it. Well, as soon as we walked out there, it was the craziest thing. It was just like, take a deep breath. All right, let's do this. I was still nervous, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't like shaking nervous. I mean, I was still very nervous, and it was amazing when you walk out there and you see all the people that's there to hear you sing and play. I mean, and it's crazy.
And what the thing I thought was cool about it later is that I saw some I don't know if it's like a live Facebook video. I mean, there's so many videos, it's hard telling what it is, but I think it was like a live Facebook video of Rhonda or something right after your merch came out, and there she is wearing your T-shirt, man. I mean, golly.
Wow. Yeah, my buddy Chris from Florida that does the Whitley ride and everything, I think it was him that called me. He's like, hey, did you see the live video Rhonda put on Facebook with Daryl Singletary? And I was like, no, I haven't yet. I've been working, I haven't really been on Facebook. And he's like, I'll send you a picture. So he sends me a picture of her wearing a shirt. Now, I knew that he had given her the shirt and CD because he went on a cruise that she was playing on. And he'd sent me pictures of when he gave her the shirt and CD, and she was smiling, like, thank you, like she wanted it. And
cool.
Which seems odd enough.
Right. I figured she'd be like, oh, yeah, thanks for, which Rhonda's a great person. It's not that I'm saying that's, I'm not saying anything bad at all, but I mean, it's me. I ain't nobody or nothing, So yeah, it's another shirt and CD, cool, But she was like, yeah, thank you. She wanted it. So then when he sent me the picture of her wearing it in the video, that's when I was like, oh, wow. It's crazy to me,
Holy cow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Next level.
That's insane, man. I mean, that's super flattering. And the cool thing about it, man, is you really don't have an ego, man. And you totally could, man, because you've done some cool stuff, man. But it seems like everything for you, I mean, there was a struggle, not really a struggle, but you were just like a gigging musician in the beginning. And then all of a sudden there's this big boom. I mean, this huge boom. And every time I turn on the internet, it's Caleb. And I'm loving it, man. And you just dropped the video for I'm Out of Here, right?
Right.
On Vivo. Was that your first time ever trying to shoot a music video or ever did anything like that?
Yeah. Other than a Facebook video. Yeah. It's the first time for anything like that. I'm a broke hillbilly from Indiana, I never thought that I'd ever be able to go to Nashville and record a CD, let alone make a music video.
And it was let me tell you, it's a damn good video. We'll put a link up to the video right now, actually. So you guys click on that link and check the video out. But how was that whole process? Were you nervous for that?
Yeah, I was. I was nervous. The guys was great that, shot the video. I mean, they was fantastic guys, friendly. It was a lot of fun. But I was still nervous just because, I'm not a big showman on stage. You put on a show. You do. When you play and sing, you put on a show. I don't have that to where I don't know. I'm not that good at it. I mostly stand there and sing. I move around a little bit, but I guess, and part of that is playing bluegrass music. You don't have a guitar plugged into a PA system. I never did. I didn't like the tone of it in bluegrass music. So you have a microphone right there for your guitar, and then you have a vocal mic. You can't move. It's not like you can move around or do anything. You got to stay right there. So I'm not good at moving around, and I'm not a very good showman. I stand there and sing. So I'm thinking, all right, this is a music video. I can't just stand there, and not do anything. I at least got to show some kind of emotion, something,
It looked super pro, dude. It looked like you'd done it a million times, man. It was really, really, really good.
Well, the boys told me, they was like, hey, once we get over to the bar where we're going to be shooting, have some drinks.
Yeah, tell Caleb to have a few drinks, man.
Right. And I was like,
Tell him once.
It's really? Have a few drinks? She's like, yeah, if you have some drinks, you'll get loosened up and everything will go a lot better. And I was like, I don't know. They're like, just trust us. We've done this a bunch. Have some drinks. All right, no problem. So we get there and I have some drinks, and then I kind of loosened up, and I felt like it went pretty good.
Caleb, put your shirt back on, man. Too many drinks. Too many drinks.
That was the problem. It was have a few drinks, not a bunch of drinks. I got that mixed up.
You hear that, mother? Do you hear that? That Caleb said a few drinks loosens you up, and it's okay, and it's normal. It's normal. I don't have a problem. But anyway, no, it looked super pro. Looked super cool.
Where did you shoot that video, Caleb?
Panama City Beach, Florida. Well, let's see. A lot of the scene with the bike at the very end of the video where you can see the water in the background.
Right.
That's Panama City Beach. Now, the bar was actually the Blue Moon in Lynn Haven, Florida. Okay. Which is it's a great place. It's a great place.
How many days did this take?
Let's see here. We done most of it in just one day. I think the evening before we done. Let's see here, if I remember right. I've drank and slept since then. The evening before, I think, is when we done the actual scene where at the end of the video it shows me riding off on the bike and you see the water. I think that was the evening before, and then the next day is when we went to the bar and done all that. Everything else was in the next day.
So you got the music video, and you've got an album out now.
Right.
Had you been in the studio prior to cutting this album? I mean, have you recorded stuff before, or is this kind of like your first time being in the studio?
No, I had been in the studio before with bluegrass bands. Never country. So I mean, that was a whole different ball game, and I've not played as much country. I'd always played bluegrass, up until, well, let's see, I played full-time bluegrass until about a year and a half or 2 years ago, I guess. And, so bluegrass studio is a different world, country music studio. I mean, it's two complete different things.
How's it differ? Is it just the amount of tracks? Because I know country music these days, there are just tracks on top of tracks on top of tracks, whereas maybe bluegrass, you got just your core instruments.
It's more simple. Yeah, it's way more simple. And when you have traveled and sang, the same songs over and over and over, you're way more familiar with them when you get into the studio, that's where I was with bluegrass. Now, I was very familiar with the songs that I'd done on the country CD, but I hadn't traveled and played them songs night after night after night after night. And then when we went in to do the country album, the guys, the studio musicians are just, I don't understand it. Like, I thought that like I was, decent guitar player until we got down there and went into the studio and like them are guitar players. Sure. I ain't a guitar player, not at all. Them guys are amazing. You sit down, you listen, you play them a work track they've never heard before. They listen to it maybe twice at the very most. And then they go in and they sit down and just within 20 minutes, a song is done musically. I mean, it's done.
They're like robots, man.
Yeah.
And those guys are but it's so weird because even with them just putting, that little, I don't want to say they're putting little time into it because there's still soul behind it, which is so crazy.
Right.
To come out and just play this entire, but I mean, that's their job, that's what they do. And they're really, really, really good at it.
Oh yeah. It's amazing. Like I said, I couldn't believe it. Like, I mean, bluegrass, it takes a little more time, which I've always played with great musicians as far as the bluegrass bands I was in. They was always way better musicians than me. And a lot of times they carried me a lot. Especially the last band I was in, they really carried me a lot. But that was just a whole different ball game, it just, them guys listen to this song, and not even full music. I'm talking like a couple of the songs was just me in my living room with a guitar. That was it. And it's like, they listen to it twice, and they come up with in their head how it's supposed to sound. It's not like they really converse back and forth about it that much. It's not like they're like, well, hey, let's do it like this. Now, they might have a couple-second conversation, but they go in there and everything's just boom together. It's like, all these people are sharing one brain, and they just done that. And I'm standing in the studio just doing a scratch vocal in the booth. I'm just doing a scratch vocal, and I'm just kind of like, I'm like forgetting words and all kind of stuff just because I can't believe it.
You're the guy holding everything up. It's like, oh, man.
I really was the guy. These guys are like, it's your song. Like, what's going on? But I'm standing there, and I'm, got headphones on. I'm listening to what they're doing, and I'm like, wow. It sounds like something you just heard on the radio as far as, the musicians. They're fantastic,
Now, how much input did you have on the production side of things? Like, after the tracks were cut, are you in the sound booth just kind of listening to, I'm sure you're listening to the tracks as it's all just coming together. Now, were they really picking your brain saying, hey, is this kind of what you want to hear? Or
they did some, and but once again, they're way more experienced in the country music world than I am. So, there were some things that I was like, no, I don't want to do it like this. I want to do it like this, or I think that this song ought to be done like this. It's like the last song on the CD is just an acoustic, and they wanted to put like, well, let's put more music with it. I was like, no, that's not how I want to do it. Like, I don't know, it's the lyrics of the song that I think sells that song, and it's a fantastic song, and I wanted to keep it more simple, just so the lyrics would stand out more, So there was different things, I was like, no, I don't really like it like that, or that's a little bit too much, I don't know, it just wasn't really what I was looking for. So there's a couple times, but for the most part, like them guys like knew exactly like it should sound like. They'd listen to it and they would think, oh, this should sound like this, and then I didn't even know what to say.
Were they all really cool with it?
Oh,
or,
yeah.
Or was that like a hard conversation to have?
No, not at all. But we was in Legends Studio in Nashville. These guys, I'm nobody compared to the people they usually work with, So they're used to, working with people, But everybody was great. We had a blast. It was a lot of fun. I've always had fun in the studio. I always have. And the first day or two we was in the studio, I was a little bit nervous just because it was a whole different ball game. But it was still just amazingly fun. We had a blast. It's amazing.
Now, are there any what tracks did you have any co-writes on this or this
one?
Okay. So for the most part, these people are, I mean, you're getting these songs. Did people come to you with songs saying, hey, I really want you to cut these, man? I want you to be this guy. Or were you just kind of picking songs maybe from buddies or something saying, hey, I want to cut these? I mean, how did that go?
I was kind of picking songs from friends, which one of my best friends, his name's Tom Botkin. He lives in Nashville. He's one of the first people. The second video, I do believe it was like the second video I ever put on Facebook, was a song called Even the River. I had no idea who wrote the song or anything. And
How'd you get the song?
I was listening to a bluegrass track one day, a guy who lived from Greensburg, Indiana, named Larry Sparks, and it was his 40-year anniversary album. And this dude comes on singing the second verse to this song. The song was called Tennessee 1949. And as soon as this dude opens his mouth, which Larry Sparks is amazing, but I'd never heard this guy before that sang the second verse. And as soon as he started singing, I was like, whoa, I had to back it up and turn the radio up. And I was like, who is this guy? We'll come to find out this guy's name's Kevin Denny. I don't know how or why. I had never heard of Kevin before. But he's an amazing songwriter and singer. Amazing. So I start looking this guy up, and I see that he had an album, a few years ago, and he had a hit on the radio called That's Just Jesse. A lot of people's heard of it. I hadn't. I was still pretty young then, I guess. But I found it was a live show that they'd done. It was for a CD release party, and the song Even the River was on that. It was like a 50-minute video. So I get online, I'm looking around everywhere, and I cannot find this CD. It was a CD release party, but the CD hadn't got released. And the video was a year old or something like that. So I couldn't find the CD or nothing, nowhere. So I didn't have no information on the song or anything, but it's one of them songs. It's like, as soon as you hear it, it just hits you hard. Like, and it reminded me a lot of like my hometown, and it was just one of them songs that stuck with you. So I sat on that song for probably, I don't know, I'd sing it around the house, 8 months or a year probably. And one day I thought, you know what? Heck with it. I'm going to put it on Facebook. So I did. And it was about, I don't know, a week or so later, I had seen that a lady had commented on the video, which one of my buddies had shared it, and she had commented on his post and said, my husband, Tom Botkin, wrote this song. And I was like, oh, wow. So now I know who one of the songwriters are. So I waited a day or two, and I thought, I'm going to message this guy and tell him, I hope that he didn't mind, me doing a song, covering it on Facebook, that I think it's a great song. Well, when I go to get in my phone to message the guy, he had already messaged me, and somehow I didn't see it. He messaged me like the day after I put it on Facebook, and I don't know how or why I didn't see it, but he said, hey, like the way you done my song, here's my email, here's my phone number, get with me. So I look him up, and he wrote Bonfire for Craig Morgan. I mean, he's got songs that Haggard sang. I mean, he's got all kinds of songs. I mean, he's fantastic. And me and him, I mean, since then we've become, best friends. I mean, he's just a fantastic guy. And let's see, five or six of the songs on the CD are songs that Tom, wrote and co-wrote on. So he kind of told me, hey, whatever I got, it's yours if you want it. Like, just pick whatever you want.
That's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he's an amazing guy.
See, what I liked about the CD is that New Country, which kind of gets a bad rap right now, and we'll get to that, it's kind of got a modern feel, but the songs have content. I mean, you listen to the songs. I mean, they're not just songs about tailgates, bikini tops, and drinking beer. I mean, the songs have content. I mean, like you said, songs like Even the River and stuff like that. I mean, they hit you. I mean, songs like that. I mean, they hit you. And are you real kind of picky about that? It seems like that maybe you're a little bit picky that you only kind of do songs that mean something to you.
Yes. It's. I mean, I've always tried and always will try to do something that has some kind of meaning to it. I want a song to tell a story. Whether it's like the song that we done the video to, I'm Out of Here. Whether it's talking about what, I'm just fed up with all the bullshit and working all the time, and I'm ready to get out of here and take a vacation, or if it's a song like Even the River. I want some kind of meaning there. And that's like, I think it was actually Tom, me and him was talking one day, and he's like, man, I feel like what we need to do, and I felt like it was a genius idea, which Tom is, a genius, and he says, we need to kind of have a little bit more of a modern country music, to try to keep up with, the music that you hear on the radio. He's like, but let's just still do real country music songs. And that's what Tom writes, is country music songs. And I said, that is an awesome idea. So that's what we try to do. And we didn't want to get, things too crazy modern as far as music, but we wanted to have like a nice, good taste of, the modern feel of country music and have good country music songs, good, strong lyrics to every song. So that's the main thing we was shooting for. And I feel like that I feel like we got it. I mean, I think that's what we shooting for. I think that's what we did.
You know, and I think a lot of that comes back to maybe some of the bluegrass in you too. And that's every time I talk to someone, and we talk about you because I bring you up a lot, man. Because I'm proud of you, man. I'm everything you're doing. And I always say, man, let me tell you, my first favorite thing about Caleb, he's an honest guy. I mean, you're just an honest dude. And how old are you?
25.
You were just a kid, man. And it is very rare to find someone as young as you that loves bluegrass, that loves traditional country, as much as you do. Where did that bluegrass influence come from?
Well, my family. My dad, he played bluegrass music up until he was in his 20s, and he started going to church. And then even after he started going to church, which we all went to church, we had a family bluegrass gospel band. We traveled around and played bluegrass gospel music for a long time. And then when I was about 17 and a half, I didn't want to live at home no more. I was tired of going to church all the time, which church is a great thing, don't get me wrong, but I was just, I guess, burnt out. And, so I got down on my hands and knees and begged my old man, let me move out. And he says, all right, which at that time, I worked a full-time job, and had my own vehicles and stuff. And he helped me move out. And then that's when I started playing just bluegrass music instead of bluegrass gospel. And I'd always loved country music, always had. And I always thought, man, one day I'm going to do a country album and I'm going to play country music. But I always hoped for that, but I never thought
it was really going to happen.
Yeah, I'm going to go to Nashville one day and record a CD. No, that was I never seen that for me ever. And, so I just played bluegrass, and then, I get videos on Facebook and, it's making connections with guys, that's from Nashville, and it just, I don't know, man, it's still crazy to me. I still can't hardly believe it, but it all started in bluegrass. I mean, I love bluegrass music. I mean, bluegrass and classic country, man,
there ain't no shame in that.
That's where my heart's at,
Now, and I said we'd come back to it. What's your take? Because everyone's always trying to get me to talk shit about new country music, man. Everyone's trying to get me to talk shit about
I
it
get
all
that
the
a lot
time.
too.
I mean, what's your take on what direction do you think is country kind of riding on a flat tire right now? I mean, what is going on in country music, man? Do you think that's just the evolution? I mean, because back in the day you had Hank Sr. Well, when Vince Gill came out, he wasn't Hank Sr. But I mean, I still consider Vince Gill country music,
right?
But I feel like we're even kind of. I mean, I think we're stretching it a little bit. And it's, nothing against the Sam Hunts and the stuff like that. Because, I mean, his songs, I've listened to the lyrics. There's some content in there. But are we really trying to put that in the country music bracket? I mean, is that really country? Would you, because in my take, I don't want to talk smack about him. But I would be a whole lot happier. And that's why I got mad respect for Taylor Swift. Okay, and everyone always wants to talk bad about Taylor Swift, but she is the one. She writes her songs. Let me tell you, you're going to be hard pressed to find someone making more money than Taylor Swift, and that's just God's honest truth. But she at least had the salt to say, "Look, here's what I'm doing. It's not country music anymore.
I'm going to go over here and I'm going to sing my songs over here."
Yeah, exactly. I've at least got enough respect for country music to do that.
Right.
But then, like I said, you turn on, you're hearing like the stuff like Sam Hunt and just all this stuff that's really kind of borderline R&B. On country music. I mean, how does a true blue like country boy guy like yourself? I mean, how you feel about that?
Well, I guess there's some songs that's on the radio like new stuff that I do like. I mean, just take, for instance, Jason Aldean, like Any Old Barstool. That is country music.
Sure.
And that sounds like the stuff that he was doing like 5 and 6 years ago. He's kind of swung back around, I feel like, to like, okay, I'm going to start doing this stuff again. And it worked for him. It's great. And there's a lot of stuff that's on country music, radio that I do like, but there's a lot of it I don't. I think that it's going to turn around some, but not like what I would want it to do or what you would want it to do. I mean, you like Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, them guys like that, and I do too. And I like my favorite country music is when you get all the way back into Farron Young, Mel Street. I mean, I like when I say classic country, I'm talking like '60s country. I mean, that way
Lefty
back,
Frizzell's,
right?
I mean,
way back there. That's the stuff that's where my heart's at. Like if I could play that kind of music every night and make a living doing it, you bet your ass that's what I'd be doing. I love it, but it don't really sell anymore. And if you take, like you said, you got Hank Williams and then Vince Gill or Hank Williams Jr.'s music. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's crazy different. It's crazy different. It is. It's all good, but it's way different. So I think that, I guess I'm kind of rambling. I think the newer music is going to turn on some, but not very much. I think that is what it is. I think that no, it's not exactly as country as I would like, but there's a lot of people that's buying it, and as long as there's people out there that's going to pay money to go to concerts and buy the music or download music online, I mean, that's what they're going to do. As long as somebody's buying the product,
Oh yeah.
they're going to make it. They're going to do it. They're going to keep doing exactly what they was doing, and it's going to turn around a little bit, I think, but it ain't going to be very much. And I think that this is just what it's going to be. I don't think that I think that it's myself. Yeah, I think it's more like a pop, or something like that. I do. But if you go way back in the day, you can take, country music in let's say the 80s sound a lot like rock and roll, and the 60s and 70s. I mean, there's a lot of, so it's kind of like, I think that's just what we're getting. I think it's all it's going to be. I mean, I think that it's going to turn on some, but not much.
Well, here's the thing. Like anytime the CMA awards or the ACM or ACMs, whatever, I almost love when they're and I don't watch them, man. Because I've seen enough. It's like I see what direction it's going, and I'm just not a huge fan of. I hate being, God, I'm 33 years old and I still feel like shaking a stick in my yard saying get off my country music lawn or whatever
right.
I'm doing. But the cool thing is I get on like Facebook the next day and all I see is people bitching, saying, man, that ain't country music. I had to turn that stuff off and blah, blah, blah. Man, there is a market for country music, I feel.
Absolutely.
I feel there is a market. It's not all Fireball whiskey and tiki torches, man. There is still, and I've said this for the longest time. Take party songs and everyone, and this is the biggest argument I always get in. They're like, oh, well, all you want to do when we hang out is listen to sad songs. No, I want to listen to, and I'm a huge fan of sad songs because
you can connect.
If you listen to a song that makes you cry, my God, I mean,
right.
there's no bigger connection to me than a song like that can tug your heartstrings so much
right.
to where you break down in tears. And for someone to say, "Oh no, but you just want to listen to that sad," that's not a good song. That makes you cry. That's not a good song. It makes you cry, and it's not a good song. Are you out of your mind?
Right.
It made a grown man cry.
Right. You connected with it that much for it to make you feel that way. And there's a lot of people that 5 years ago did not listen to country music. They didn't like country music because country music is songs about life, not what you want your life to be. I mean, it's about life. Like, okay, whether a lot of people, well, my dog ran off and my wife divorced me. That's life. That is life. I mean, that's just the way it is. And I mean, now we have a lot of songs. I mean, now this is just me in my neck of the woods. I have never, ever, ever in my life went to a party where me and 15 of my buddies had our trucks parked in a circle with headlights shining on a fire, and there was girls running around in bikinis dancing. Now, that might happen in other places. I'm not saying it don't, but I've never been in nothing like that. I have never, ever been to a party like that. I mean, I haven't.
If you find one, let me
I was
know.
going to say, I'm not totally against it.
I didn't say I'm against it either. I'm just saying, like, that's not something I can connect with because I've never seen that. I've never even had a buddy say, hey, the other night or last weekend I went to a party and this is what they did. No, I've never heard of that.
It's
now, people's
unrelatable.
right. If people's doing that, that's cool. That's fine. That's great. Whatever floats their boat. But like to me, like I can't hardly connect with that, But when you play a George Jones song, son.
And see, that's what always got me. It's like you got Florida Georgia Line, ex country artist singing, got drunk, had a good time, blah blah. Okay, every time I got drunk, I usually woke up the next day feeling real bad about it. Not just feeling physically bad, but saying, man, there's some people, I did some bad stuff last night.
Some apologizing
It seems like the drinking songs nowadays, but like a long time ago when it was a drinking song, they weren't like proud of it. It's like now when they come out with the drinking songs like fill up your solo cups or whatever, it's like, we've kind of lost that, we're kind of celebrating, it's kind of like a party lifestyle when it's a drinking style, but the old stuff. And like I said, that's what I connect with. And like I said, I'm not calling teenage girls or whoever, whatever. I'm not calling those people wrong. I'm not saying.
No, me either. If that's what they're into, that's great. That's awesome.
And that's my thing. That's why I won't ever talk shit about it. But I do think it's kind of, I don't really think it's appropriate to call it country music, though, man. I said it there. Quote it. I don't think it's country music, period.
Right. And to what you listen to all the time, like your Waylon Jennings and artists like that, it's not country compared to that. It's not. I mean, it's not. Even to the stuff that I listen to 90% of the time, the Farron Youngs and, guys like that, and George Jones back in the day. I mean, it's not country music compared to that. But today, It's country music. I mean, that's what they're selling you.
And that's it. And people are buying it
People
in
are buying it.
droves, man.
Right.
And until they stop buying it, that's exactly what they're
Right.
going to do.
And I don't blame them. I don't blame them at all. I mean, you've got artists out here that's making millions and millions of dollars a year. And I've even like watched interviews of some of the big artists today saying like, this ain't exactly what I want to be playing.
This is shit music, but it sells.
Right. You know, this isn't exactly what I want to be playing, but you know, I've got a family to feed. I got a bus that I got to lease. I got guys that play in a band for me. I got to take care of their families. Like, you know, and I'm making millions of dollars doing this. So, okay. Now here's another thing. This come to me one day. I don't know why, but I have done a lot of different work in my life. I have done construction work. I have done concrete work. I have drove truck. I have worked in hog barns. I've done everything about you can think of. Now, one of the shittiest jobs I ever had was working in a hog barn. You can imagine. It's horrible. I done that job. I made $12 an hour. We would load thousands of head of pig on trucks every night. I hated it. And I barely made enough money to get by. Barely. Like, I mean, I was always strapped tight, you know, for money. Sure. So let me ask you a question. Have you ever had a job that you hated, but you had to work it?
Yeah, that's work.
Right. So if you can go out here and sing a song about you and 100 of your buddies and 350 women running around in bikinis parked around a fire, you know, and you're not just going to make this enough money to get by. You might not like the song you're singing, but you may not like shoveling, you know, horse shit somewhere either.
Yep.
But you might not like the song you're singing, but you're going to make millions of dollars doing it. What are you going to do?
Yeah, it's like you can either cut honky tonk badonkadonk or you can go sack groceries IGA. Pick one, man.
Right.
Pick one. It's
millions
like,
or hundreds.
Right.
What are you going to do?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's why I was going to ask you too. I mean, if someone comes up to you, because that's what a lot of people don't understand. They see these guys like these artists out and they're thinking, well, man, these are the guys writing the song. Let me tell you, there are buildings upon buildings upon buildings, skyscrapers in Nashville where all people do is sit in rooms and write songs all day long, all
Right.
day,
Oh,
all
yeah.
day. I mean, and that's the big label now, Big Machine, which I
Right.
think's a funny name because that's what Nashville's turned into. It is just a big machine of people trying to write the next hit song, and the only thing they've got to go by to write the next song is the last hit song.
What
Right.
sold
You
last
know.
time?
So, and I was going to ask you that, and I think that's funny, and I got a lot of respect for because that's an honest answer. You know, you can either cut this song that these guys are going to shove in front of you for millions of dollars, and see, that's why I don't jump on the sellout bandwagon, because let me tell you, I'm the first guy to sell out. You know, hey, you need some? Yeah, I will sing it if it feeds my family, if it builds my mama house. I'll do whatever
Right.
it takes. I will do whatever it takes. Absolutely. So I take it that's your stance too. You would be that guy.
Well, there's a lot of different routes I would take. I feel like before I would do it. I mean, I think that I think I could still make a good living, you know, even if I wasn't, you know, the beatbox in the background of every song, you know, and I think that I could still make a decent living doing what I'm doing. I don't know. Right now, I'm not making a very good living doing it. But I mean, give it some time, maybe it'll work out. I don't know. But I mean, I really don't know, I guess, until I'm put in that situation. What I can say is I don't blame the guys that's done it. I don't blame them. I mean, if they can make the money they're making doing them songs, I mean, more power to them. Do I like it? No. And I guess if every artist that was out there would say, no, we're not doing it, we're going to do it like this, then everything would probably turn around a little bit. But, you know, you can't flash that kind of money in front of somebody.
Somebody's going to take it.
Right, somebody's going to take it. And, you know, and I want to say, like, I would be the guy to say, you know, I would rather do it like this, but, like, I have some give in me. Like, I have some give. Like, you know, I'll come up just like the modern music. Now, just like the CD that, you know, we done. Now, we would rather had, you know, twin fiddles and steel guitar.
Sure.
Every break, you know, every solo, everything. That's what we'd rather had. But I'm willing to give some. Like, okay, let's put some modern music to it, but let's still have country music songs. Let's see if we can make this work. If it will work, then that's what I want to do. If not, then we'll figure out another route maybe.
True.
You know, I guess that's kind of the way I look at it. You know, I got some give in me. I don't care to, you know, to give some, you know, and get the music, you know, but let's still have some songs. It's fun songs, some that are fun, some that might make you cry, you know, but still has some meaning to them. And
Keep it rooted.
right. I guess that's the, you know, the route I want to try to take first, you know.
That's very cool. So if you weren't playing and see, I like that song, Get a Lot of Living Done. You know, it's because he says, I ain't making me a killing, but I get a lot of living done. And it's
Right.
like, that's how I feel about playing music. It's like, man, I ain't, you know, I'm not living in a mansion, I'm not doing crazy things, but I'm telling you what, I always said that I would rather have 10 minutes of time than $10 in my pocket, because, and playing music full time, because I was working for a school. I was teaching school for close to 10 years. And, you'd come home, you'd be stressed, and I was still playing gigs and stuff like that. But when I got done with that, when all that came to an end and I started playing gigs for a living, you got to book more gigs, and sometimes it does feel like work, but at the end of the day, it's like, you know what, man, I'm playing music for a living, and I've got so much more free time. I'm my own boss. It's like I totally get a lot of living. It's like I've gotten so much living done, and I absolutely love it. But if music doesn't work out and music isn't your thing, what would you do? What would be your job to make you happy, or is it just whatever puts food on the table?
Yeah, whatever, I can make some money doing is what I've always done. Like I said, I've done about anything you can imagine, and whatever pays, that's what I'll do. I don't care. If I don't know how to do it, I'll learn how to do it, but I guess if I could do anything in the world, it'd probably be, raise cows, I guess. I've always loved, I've got horses. I've always loved messing with cattle. I guess if I couldn't play music for a living, that's what I'd want to do. But, I mean, would that actually happen? I don't know, But, I mean, right now I'm a landscaper, so, I'd maybe do it the rest of my life. I don't know.
I mean, how do you feel? I mean, how do you feel your music career's going, man? Because I tell you what, if it was a stock, I would say it's a green arrow pointing up, man. Because I feel, like I said, every time I get on a computer, or I have people coming up to me or sharing videos with me saying, "Man, have you heard this guy?" And I was like, "Yeah, I've heard him. Come. I just played with him the other week, man. Come watch this guy." I tried to tell you. I tried to tell you, man.
Well, we have a lot of fun.
So it's like, what do you think? I mean, are you hopeful? But I know you get hopeful, but you've also got to be like realistic. Oh, it's a hard job and blah blah blah. But let me tell you, not everyone's got what you got, man. Not everyone's got that. So I mean, and you're hooked up with some good people, man. You're rubbing elbows with the right people. I mean, are you pretty confident that one of these days things are going to pan out?
I don't know. I really don't. I mean, I guess the way I look at it is if it happens, that's great. If it don't, okay, I tried. My thing is like, I don't know, like for the longest time, like I never even really tried to go play country music or do anything, and then somebody's like, you need to at least try. You don't want to be 50 years old and say, well, what if I would have tried? And I thought, that's true. I would rather, be 50 or 60 years old and say, I went and tried, it didn't happen. Okay, cool. Than to say, what if I would have tried? What if it could have happened? I don't know, but I guess I want it to happen. Do I honestly think it's going to happen? Maybe. I don't know. I know the chances, 1 in a million. I mean, you go to Nashville, I mean, there's guys down there that sing better and play better than me, that stand on the corners, playing for tips. I mean, and are fantastic musicians and singers. I mean, they're great guys. I'm just one of thousands and thousands and thousands of people that's in Nashville, that's just as good and way better. So I think it's one of them deals that, luck of the draw. I mean, maybe if you get lucky, maybe if I get lucky, maybe it could happen, I don't know. I hope it does, but are all my eggs in that basket? I can't say yes, or else I'd have already packed me, my wife, and kids up and moved to Nashville.
Sure.
And that's a hard thing to do when you got a wife and kids too, just to uproot and go. But, I mean, at least, in Indiana, like, if I lose the job I'm working at today, tomorrow I'll have another job. I know people. I've worked for a lot of people. So I can find something else. In Nashville, like, I don't know what I would do when I get there. I guess I could run and start gigging some bars downtown or something. I mean, but how long would that last? I mean, if it happens for me, it happens. I mean, I don't know. I hope it does, but.
Well, buddy, I tell you what, man, you're one of the nicest guys I met, and I wish you all the best of luck in the world, man. And I really appreciate you coming out and talking to us today. I'm going to get you to stick around and play a song for us. We're actually going to run a link to that, too. You can click up here, and we're going to have him play a tune for us. So, until then, we'll catch y'all next time. Caleb, again, man, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
it's
thanks
been
for
a
having
blast,
me.
man.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here, Caleb.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, we'll see y'all next time. And have a brew with Sean and Lou. Y'all take care, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you.